episode of Spooky Saturday. In this week's episode, I'm going to be telling you about some of the most haunted places in California. So, without further ado, let's get spooky. So, first up on my list here is the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel is aptly considered one of the most haunted hotels in California. Located in LA, it was opened to the public in 1927 and was a luxurious space for the elite of Tinseltown. The famous phantoms that reportedly grace these halls include the trumpeter Montgomery Clift and Marilyn Monroe herself. Montgomery likes to practice his music in room 928, and Marilyn can be found admiring her image in the mirror of the room 229 or dancing in the ballroom. The hotel is still operating to this day, and you can definitely book one of the haunted rooms. I don't know if I'd book a haunted room. I would stay at the Roosevelt because it looks really nice, but I don't know if I'd go out my way to get one of those rooms. Next up, Point Sur Lighthouse. Located on the stunning shores of Big Sur, Point Sur Light Station is said to be haunted by as many as a dozen different spirits. Legends abound, from sightings of former lightkeepers to drenched spirits of shipwrecked victims who met their demise in the icy waves of the Pacific. The staff embrace the menacing reputation, hosting Halloween tours for visitors. The lighthouse has also been featured on the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures. The lighthouse is part of a Point Sur Historic Park and has been in the continuous operation since 1889. It's the only one from its time still in operation and a fun place to visit, ghosts or not. Number 3, Alcatraz Island. Most abandoned prisons have legends about paranormal activity, so it's no surprise that one of the world's most infamous penal institutions comes with a host of them. Alcatraz Island is located in San Francisco Bay, surrounded by frigid, shark-infested waters. The island started as a military fort and prison, but in 1934 it was converted into a maximum security prison for the worst of America's criminals. Over the next decades, the prison was home to Al Capone, Alvin Creepy Carpis, Machine Gun Kelly, and Robert Franklin Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. Ghost stories have always surrounded the prison, even reported by prisoners when it was still in use. Prisoners stated encountering an ominous entity they labelled the Thing. Supposedly, it lurked in the darkness, staring at them with fiery red eyes. Staff and visitors also report the cell doors slamming on their own, disembodied voices, cries of agony, and the heavy, unexplainable feeling of a demonic presence. Visitors report being overcome with immense terror, suicidal thoughts, and palpable oppression when touring the facility. Some have even exploded in unexplainable outbursts of tears. Alcatraz was a place of violence, torment, and fear when in operation. Today, it's a popular tourist attraction and a national historic landmark. Guests wander the once dreaded island on a day tour provided by the National Park Service, but private companies also offer the most sinister tours. Yes, I've always wanted to do one of the nighttime tours at Alcatraz. If I ever go to San Francisco, I really want to do that. I'm pretty sure I would be scared shitless, but I would still want to do it. Let me know if any of you guys have done that or know someone that's done that. Number 4, the Whaley House. Located in San Diego, the Whaley House has long been considered the scariest place in Southern California. The haunted house was imagined as a perfectly normal family home by Thomas Whaley when he began the construction in 1857. However, the townsfolk were unsure. The property was already notable as the site of public execution of Yankee Jim Robinson, a horse, an attempted boat thief. The property was rumoured to be an old Others claim that the spirits of a young girl wander the property and that one of the spectres like to play with the beads on the chandeliers. The Whaley House serves as a museum today and hosts guided ghost tours in the evening. Colorado Street Bridge. The Colorado Street Bridge spans from Arroyo Seco River in Pasadena. It's a gorgeous bridge, but it has an ugly past. For some reason, suicidal jumpers are drawn to the arched wonder. Since 1919, there have been an estimated 102 suicides, and those are just the ones authorities publicly acknowledge. With that many tragic deaths in one place, it's no surprise that legends of the haunting swirl around the bridge. One of the most commonly seen spectres is that of a young man who jumps from the railing, causing onlookers to rush to his aid, but he vanishes before hitting the river. Drivers also report swerving to miss a woman walking down the middle of the bridge. Scared out of their wits, they stop to chastise her, only to realise she has disappeared. Is the bridge really haunted? You'll have to visit yourself and see. Oh, that does sound like a creepy ass bridge. Number 6. Bodie Goes Down. Or Bodie, I'm not sure. Well, I'm gonna go with Bodie. Bodie was a very isolated gold rush era mining town east of the Sierra Nevadas. Now it's a ghost town with a well-documented curse. The town was slowly abandoned as mining continued until the 1940s. This resulted in sticky fingers taking artifacts from the empty homes as souvenirs of California's Wild West history. When the state park system took over the town, a clever staff member invented a curse. It specified that anyone who took even the smallest trinket from the body would be punished. Though we know this curse was invented, many petty thieves strongly believe in its power. To this day, the park staff open letters daily with apology notes of all kinds. The notes beg for forgiveness and include whatever artifact was stolen, advising the park staff to please put it back. Thieves report mysterious deaths in their families, failed relationships, mysterious hauntings, and a range of other evils that entered their lives after they took an object from Bodie. The park consists of more than 100 original and reconstructed structures, displaying the town as it was upon its abandonment. Take a tour of the ghost town, but don't take a souvenir. Oh, I would definitely not take a souvenir, even though it's like a made-up curse. You know, whatever you believe in, you can bring that to life, so nope. Oak Park Cemetery. Cemeteries generally top the list of haunted spots, for obvious reasons, but Oak Park Cemetery in Claremont has a particularly gruesome reputation. Visitors to the cemetery report being attacked by vicious little apparitions, and that's not all. An ominous winged spirit is said to patrol the entrance to the graveyard, and guests have captured strange lighting anomalies on camera. Shadowy male figures are said to wander the graves, and the sightings here are constantly increasing. Oh my gosh, like a winged spirit, what the heck? Number 8. Satan's Castle. This sounds real good. This former home of the affluent Atkinson family, the Satan's Castle ruins are nestled in a stunning mountain setting near San Bernardino. In addition to being a gathering place for the area's elite, the home was long linked to dark rituals. It's rumoured that tunnels run beneath the home that connected to the Catholic Church. The tunnels were likely built during the Prohibition to smuggle alcohol to Atkinson's parties, but that doesn't stop the rumours. The more persistent rumour states that a local preschool would fly children to the area, and they would enter the Atkinson homes through the church and tunnels for satanic rituals. There are hundreds of accounts of sexual abuse by former students sacrifices and mysterious rituals, but both the Park Service and the Church of Satan deny this. Neighbours report seeing black-robed groups at night and finding animal bones on the property. The number of frightening stories connected to this property is almost unbelievable, but is there any truth to them? Well, that sounds like it was a house of horrors. It does say stuff about what happened to the children, but I'm not going to say any of that. Mission San Miguel. The Spanish mission of San Miguel was founded in 1797 and served the faithful of the area until 1834, when it was secularized. It was sold to the Reed family in 1846. The Reeds turned the beautiful structure into a boarding house, and they reportedly required payment in gold. After a few years of gathering nuggets off of prospectors, the Reeds had racked up a good little stash, supposedly more than 200,000 worth, which was quite a fortune in the mid-1800s apparently. Reed had a tendency to brag about his hoard, which proved to be his downfall. According to local law, a group of British pirates was staying in the area and decided to collect the gold for themselves. They raided the mission, killing the Reeds and everyone else in sight. They didn't find the gold, and they were all executed soon after the massacre. Today, visitors report seeing a woman in white and a man in a blue coat. It's assumed that these spirits are those of murdered Mr. and Mrs. Reed. Take a tour of this beautiful place and see if you can spot any of the spectres. Oh my god, imagine doing that and then not actually getting the gold that you went for. Like, what? You just, like, what would be the point? Number 10. El Adobe San Juan Capistrano. Hailing from 1797 and 1812, the El Adobe San Juan Capistrano restaurant is formed by two adjoining adobe structures. The first was a home, and the second served as a local court and jail. In the 1940s, the two buildings were adjoined and turned into a restaurant that became a favorite of a sitting president, Richard Nixon, while Mexican food lovers still flocked to the restaurant for tasty burritos. Something more spooky lurks in the cellar. The restaurant is said to be haunted by a couple of spirits. The wine cellar is where the former jail cells were located, and is said to be occupied by a former prisoner. The scariest spirit at the restaurant lingers near the front door though. Multiple guests have reported seeing a headless friar greeting guests at the entrance. Imagine that, going to a restaurant and you see like a headless guy. What the heck? The restaurant still serves up elevated Mexican cuisine in a stunning environment, just a few blocks from Mission San Juan Capistrano. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do this one in two parts because I actually don't have any more time to do this, and I've got like a few more to do. So I hope you guys are okay with that. There will be a part 2 coming up after this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a creepy rest of your day or evening wherever you are. And I shall see you next time for another episode of Spooky Saturday.